So should we come up with some sort of cold open?
Yeah, Sean, who's your favorite lesbian?
Kathy Bates?
Oh, can you expand on that?
No, just the first lesbian that came into my mind.
I think there's something quite wholesome about that. Like,
You weren't
I,
expecting me to have an answer.
I was expecting you to have an answer that wasn't at least a little bit fetishistic, right? As in, like, when you ask a straight dude who's their favorite lesbian, it's not gonna be Kathy Bates 9 times out of 10. And I'm like, oh, that's quite a considered answer in the grand scheme of
Well, that's
things.
rude of you to say that Kathy Bates can't be fetishized.
Is it? I'll be honest, I came into this joke thinking I had the upper hand, and I've very, very swiftly lost it with that like brilliant move on your part.
The Kathy Bates card.
Why do you love Kathy Bates so much?
Kathy Bates played the person in Misery, which
Yes,
is a,
Annie.
yeah. And she also played a really fun character on the US Office.
Are those your two
Those are my two reasons.
references?
Who's yours?
It's Ellen.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Do you want to give that another go?
Ellen DeGeneres.
That's the one. It's also not Ellen. I just thought that'd be like of the Kathy Bates school, you know?
No, no, you can't compare Kathy Bates and Ellen.
Are we sure Kathy Bates is a lesbian?
I'm like 80% sure.
Do you want me to Google this or
No, quite
are,
famously, I believe.
are you happy you're not knowing? You said
No, I'm good.
80% and then quite famously. She's married to a guy called Tony.
No, fuck off, really?
Okay. So
Here,
Sean's favorite lesbian is
it's
heterosexual
not a
character
lesbian.
actor Kathy Bates.
Oh, man.
Happy Pride Month. Welcome to Love It or Slate It with James and Sean, a movie podcast all about movies that we like, don't like, or kinda don't. But our movie podcast comes with a slight little twist. Sean, what's our slight little twist?
Our slight little twist is that we set a 30-minute timer once we start talking about the movie. Sorry, I would need to clarify. It doesn't mean our podcast is 30 minutes long. It means that the movie discussion that's in the middle of our podcast is 30 minutes long.
We've
A
gotten
lot
some
of
flack
our,
about this.
yeah, clearly we don't have the most intelligent listeners. Um,
Sorry to Kathleen from The Office who made this comment initially. I do not condone Sean's
So
remarks.
that's where the 30-minute timer comes into play. And the 30-minute timer is the USP of our podcast.
Very much so. And in the case of episodes like this one, it's almost the length of the film we're talking about, which is
Yes.
a handy little. We could just watch it.
Yes. And what is that movie? Wait, hold on. Don't say it until. No, when you say it, I'll set the timer. So say it round about whenever you're ready.
Sorry, so I say it, and okay, this is weird. It's Ethan Coen's and Tricia Cooke's Drive Away dolls.
Tricia Cooke also directed?
Ethan Coen said she co-directed an All But name because she's not a member of the Directors Guild of America. But she
Really?
co-wrote it. I believe she was an editor on it, and he said
Definitely editor, definitely
they
co-wrote.
basically directed it together, is what he says. So I'll take his word for it. He'd know better than we would.
Do you know the relationship between Tricia Cooke and Ethan Coen?
Pretty sure she's a lesbian, no?
Sure, that's not. No, I didn't mean like a personal. Like I meant what's their professional relationship?
They're married.
Are they?
Yeah.
Wait, you just said she's a lesbian.
No, no, she is a lesbian. Sorry, I assumed you knew all this.
No?
They are married,
Yeah.
but she's a lesbian.
How does that work?
She describes her marriage. I've got this is from the Wikipedia personal life section. I'm not even joking. She describes her marriage to Cohn as non-traditional, with both having separate partners outside of their marriage.
Really?
Yeah.
I
So
didn't know that.
this is basically him being a huge ally and being like, yeah, all right, let's embrace your whole lesbian thing.
I get. So, what is their relationship more based on?
They have kids,
Oh, okay.
and they do seem to like, they make good movies together.
I
Debatably,
agree.
I think they make great movies together.
Oh, clearly, most people. Well, I don't know. I don't think anybody's approaching this from the angle of what's the problem here is that it's Ethan Coen and Trisha Cook. I think everyone is approaching it from the angle of the problem is it's Ethan Coen without Joel.
See, that's interesting to me because, okay, we should set it up quickly first of all. So, Ethan Coen, one half of the Coen brothers, along with Joel.
Yeah,
Two of them made some of the most recognizable, acclaimed American films of the 21st century. And before
Blood
that,
Simple,
Fargo. That's not where I was gonna. Okay, yes, Blood Simple.
Miller's Crossing,
What?
Raising Arizona.
What are you doing?
They're famous movies that they made.
None of them are Fargo.
They also did Fargo, No Country for Old Men, Burn
Big
After Reading.
Lebowski.
Yeah, I forgot
Once
about
again,
that one.
Burn After Reading, not in the top
No,
three.
Burn After Reading is potentially my top one.
I love Burn After Reading, but you can't be like, they're also known for big films like Fargo, The Country for Old Men, You can't slip Burn After Reading in there.
No, Burn After Reading is up there for Coen Brothers
No,
movies.
I agree with you, but it's not one of like
It
the
is one of the
sacred
most
texts.
popular.
It is not.
It is. I reckon if I do a quick Google
Can I tell
search
you?
of the
Wait, wait,
Coen
wait.
Brothers.
Before you do that, can I tell you what the three are? Before you
Okay.
Google it, it's Fargo, The Country for Old Men, Big Lebowski, and Miller's
Mm,
Crossing maybe in fourth.
Miller's Crossing is way lower down.
What are the three that come up?
Okay.
Am I right?
No. Fucking hell. I forgot loads of these.
Barton
Um,
Fink,
Barton Fink is a great one. A Serious Man, also one of my favorites.
Michael
Um,
Stuhlbarg.
so the first one that came up, I think this is just Google being a bit weird. Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
That's the most recent one.
Then No Country
Yeah,
and Suburbicon.
they produced it, I believe, but that's a George Clooney film. He directed that.
There you go. Then Hail Caesar, Inside Llewyn Davis. The Jesus Rolls after that.
Yeah.
Oh Brother, Tragedy of Macbeth, True Grit.
Oh, True Grit. I
And
love True Grit.
sorry, it's showing movies they produced before movies they made.
Take it up with Google AI, man. That's not.
But this is not an AI result. Anyway, we won't get into that.
Anyway, in
All that
28,
to say they're pretty big
they're
names
they're
in the
they're they're
industry.
they yeah, they get shit done, but maybe too much shit and too efficiently because after the Ballad of Buster Scruggs in 2018,
Mm.
Ethan Coen has said that filmmaking became too much like work and he wanted a break from it. So the two brothers split paths. Joe Coen went off
Sorry,
and
he
decided
wanted a break from it to make more movies?
he wanted a break from the current system they were doing. He was finding it sort of difficult, but also a little bit boring, is what he says. I was reading an interview with him. I can get his exact quote if you want, rather than me just paraphrasing him.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Yes,
I
no, no, no.
trust your paraphrase.
I've got it. The last two movies we made, me and Joel together, were really difficult in terms of production. I mean, really difficult. So if you don't have to do it, you go at a certain point. Why am I doing this? So I think he probably just wanted a slightly different flavor, and he certainly got that with his lesbian wife and their new Margaret Qualley Western Southern road trip
I don't
lesbian
think it
movies.
is that different a flavor. I just think
Well,
it harkens back to their earlier movies.
I have a thought on that, but I think we'll come to that more naturally later. I think it's
Okay.
very deliberately subverting. It's like there's like a tractor beat, it's like an orbit of Coen Brother movie that the film's being pulled towards at all times, and at all times it's like rejecting that. Like the two lesbians are doing their thing, and at all times a Coen Brother movie keeps trying to happen to them, and they just don't conform to that. I think that's the funniest.
Well,
That's the
can
most
you give an
enjoyable reading of the
example of
film.
a time where it's resisting the orbit of a Coen Brothers style
Sure,
movie?
sure. The two Fargo guys chasing the whole movie finally catch them, accidentally kill each other. The lesbians shrug it off and go back and have sex with Matt Damon's still though. They just get right back to it. Literally, they go back to the same hotel room and pick
But
up
I
where they
don't
left
think
off.
that's a subversion that much.
But it is because you expect the climax to be when the two henchmen, who are the same henchmen from Fargo functionally, catch up to them and you get a big climax. Instead, big anticlimax, and then the two lesbians just continue their storyline, which is independent of all the crime caper going on around them.
If anything, I think that kind of weird well, what do you call it when you what they had a word for it where it's the strange causality of events, the kind of weird cause and effect relationship is a very Coen Brothers thing.
It is, but This
Like,
feels
let's take a great example from Burn After Reading with Brad Pitt being shot in the face.
sure, which is a great scene in a
It's
great film.
kind of a similar idea to this, right?
Yes and no. In yes, in that it's very irreverent, structurally irreverent.
Yeah.
No, in that the actual romance between Jamie and Marion, Margaret Qualley and Geraldine. I just don't.
Geraldine Viswanathan. I don't know
Thank you.
how to pronounce it. So sorry if we butchered that. I'll either just leave in my apology or I will go dub myself saying it properly.
So Jamie Marion's relationship and the budding of that is actually a pretty conventional um road trip love story.
Okay.
It's, dare I say, a far more conventional story than what a Coen Brothers film usually is, and
Okay.
all the idiosyncrasies and
It's not a
peculiarities.
conventional story
But
for our current days.
well, the peculiarities of the Coen Brothers narrative around them always try to get in the way of this incredibly simple arc of two friends and they actually love each other and they have sex at the end, happy ending, right? They have
Okay.
sex, right? Very simple, very old Hollywood simple in that you don't get it that much anymore.
Yeah.
But all the complications and Coen Brother trademarks almost just kind of bounce off it, which I find really enjoyable.
Yeah, but they also are the most enjoyable parts of the
They're
movie.
the most boring parts of the movie. Everything that's enjoyable about the movie is Margaret Qualley's line deliveries by far. And also the
How,
sorry, the funniest joke in the movie is the Linda Ronstadt kissing party in the basement. That's fucking hilarious. That's
yeah.
seemingly the entire album. That's like the entire playlist of the party is just Linda Ronstadt and they circle the room making out with each other. Why is it all Linda Ronstadt? That's lesbianism right there. That's what I'm calling that. That is only Ethan Cook's lesbian wife could have come up with that. Ethan himself would never.
I I
You
don't
go.
understand your perspective of why you like this movie if you think all the shit that happens in it is the boring part.
No, I think the shit that happens in it is hilarious because it fails to happen. And I think, and I also, to be clear, I'm very, I very much am sold by the central relationship to the point that all the shit failing to happen is just really funny and dynamic
Yeah,
as ways of moving their story forward.
I agree that the central relationship is convincing.
The chemistry is great, I
In a
think.
movie where almost in every other aspect it's heightened, it's like a caricature, the idea is not to be immersed, I think.
Mm,
What's the word? The verisimilitude is not
yes.
there.
No, I don't think so. And I think it's deliberately always calling attention to um not
The
just
fa-
other Coen Brothers films,
Okay.
but like the Tarantino briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's always calling attention to the tropes that it's kind of drifting towards and then going, ah, nah, this
But
is actually
also
about
always drawing attention to the fact that it's a movie,
yeah.
right? Like
It's but
this
it's an A-list talent making a B movie, right? And it's always gonna feel like that. It's always gonna feel like
that's a good way of summing
someone
it up.
someone who has established sophisticated talent dumbing
Hmm.
it down almost. And that's quite pleasurable, I find.
Well, I have an idea around that that has to do with the idea of like professional versus amateur. And it
Mm,
actually fits in quite well because of what you said about Ethan Coen saying that he was getting sick of of filmmaking feeling like a day job.
yeah.
So the original word amateur means basically translates to do something with love, not to do it for gain, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's an important distinction. We consider amateur as something done poorly.
Or by yeah. Sloppily
Generally,
by
there's
a new person, untested, inexperienced. Yeah.
but if somebody who's new and untested ends up doing a great job, nobody would call them amateur,
Sure. Okay.
right? It has this association of the quality not being there, um, which I think is a really bad perspective that we have because it leads to a lot of people making very samey movies,
Yes.
right? That's where you
Yeah.
get like if you think of like a distributor like A24, they have a style that's seen as like something to be sought after. That means that people aren't exploring their own styles. They
Hmm.
just are kind of defaulting to this is like what's good. This is what I should be trying to have my movies look like. And
Yeah,
I think he's intentionally subverting even their own movies they've made.
yeah, especially I think.
Anything that made them feel polished, I think he's intentionally subverting, but he's doing it purely out of love for making movies.
Hmm.
So, and I think the part you get it more than anywhere is the transitions,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
They're
silly
great.
transitions. They're cringeworthy, but in a really enjoyable way.
They're cringeworthy if you don't like loosen your shoulders and just go.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna. Oh look, it's Miley Cyrus. Fine, I'm on the ride. And when you're on the ride, it's an incredibly, for in your definition, amateur production. It's an incredibly smooth version of that. Like it is as good as a B movie like this is gonna be, right? I
Yeah,
think.
sure.
I think it's a very easy watch. I think there's some killer lines in it as well. I think that elevates it sometimes beyond its trappings. Some of the one-liners are fucking out there.
Do you have any off the top of your head?
Do I? There's a moment, and I think Coleman Domingo generally has a gift for just delivering lines with like
Coleman Domingo is great.
unnecessary, unnecessary Shakespearean aplomb, right? He'd like
Okay.
you don't need to read it like that. But there's a bit when he walks into the room where Jamie and Marion are tied up, and he's got the briefcase back, and he goes, "Well, well, well, you're a day late and a dick short." I think that's a fantastic line, and he says it
Yeah,
so well. You're a day
I,
late and a dick short.
so it's one of the parts where it very much deviates from the
Yeah.
movies they made as a couple of brothers.
Mm.
Um, there is everything in this movie is quite like I was saying, quite performative and forced. You also get it with the side characters, the character actors. I
Beanie
think
Feldstein as yeah.
no, not even Beanie Feldstein, but even just some of the other weird people they meet along the way.
Okay, but that's a road trip movie. That's what you want
But
from
the
that.
Coen brothers usually cast those characters immensely well. That they just feel like real people that you would meet. This movie,
Yeah.
they feel heightened. They don't feel like real people, and I think it's intentional. And I think we're seeing we're seeing Ethan Coen get to do the things that he couldn't do with Joel. That may be putting it too far. I think
Mm.
I can't help but see it that Ethan Coen is someone who wants to be making comedies
Yeah.
and who like pure comedy, no dark, right? Almost no dark. This is not a
Ooh.
dark comedy.
I would say hold out until you've seen Hold Honey Don't, which is the second Ethan Coen, Tricia Cooke, Mark Qualley lesbian South Texas movie. That one kind of plays with the same B movie formula, but it's a bit more edge. And I suspect when they do the third one of the trilogy, that'll have more edge again.
Is
I
there? It's a
suspect
trilogy.
yeah, that's the plan. It's a
Oh
trilogy of
wow.
Mark
Okay.
Qualley B movies about lesbians on the road in the South. It's fab.
Okay, that's interesting. I had no idea about that.
You've not done your research for this podcast.
I have not. No, I literally got home from work 10 minutes before we started.
You're wearing your nice shirt and everything, as we discussed
Exactly.
before. Yeah.
Yeah. Not my
Um,
podcast shirt. Um,
your iconic. Do you remember when you were starting and you were like, um, we were like you were trying to like get an artist to draw up some art for us,
yeah.
and he said yes. So I think we should be wearing Sean's signature brown jumper and James's purple shirt.
Yeah.
I don't own a purple
I
shirt,
don't own a brand jumper.
but like you said it like we were already like names.
Yeah, but I just feel those are clothing items that fit our characters.
You said signature, like or no, iconic or something. I think iconic was genuinely the word, and you weren't like joking. Anyway,
Anyway, what was I saying before you derailed my thought process?
I'm very sorry.
You don't remember either? Oh no, Ethan is the optimist. Joel is the leaning pessimist, I would say.
I I almost feel.
Is that too
I,
easy an
it is,
analysis?
but I'm going to go with an equally simplistic analysis, but I'm going to go with two different words,
Okay.
which is that Joel is the traditional auteur
Okay.
and Ethan is more of an anarchist. Ethan's more burn it down. That's what I get from comparing Tragedy of Macbeth, which is, by all accounts, a conventionally excellent film, right? It's
Yeah.
very structurally and technically proficient. It's a little bit boring because it's just Macbeth told with a little bit of style, not much of a point of view. This
Okay.
definitely has a point of view, and it's sloppy and messy and silly and is really old Hollywood in some senses and really rejects everything in other senses and just keeps burning itself down and reinventing itself. And it just, to me, while it's not a better film in any like academic sense, it's far more interesting to me. I find this
Sure.
is I find this a lot more interesting to talk about than I would Tragedy Macbeth.
Okay.
So
Okay. I haven't
is
seen
that
Tragedy of Macbeth yet, but I get where you're coming
it's
from. My
I've been
question
harsh on
though
it
is
there.
all of their
It's good.
brotherly made, why do I, is there an easier adjective for
All the
something made
movies
by a brother?
all the movies they made together.
No, they're brotherly made movies.
Okay.
Um, all of those, I feel like there's which of the Coen brothers is the philosopher? Because I feel like there are philosophical questions in all of their previous movies. Was is it Joel?
I I think it's really hard to say to answer that based on only having seen one film
Because
each from them.
it's lacking, I think, more than anything from their usual style in this.
I think watch Tragedy of Macbeth. I think you'll see an incredible, like a very pristine, polished piece of film that doesn't have a whole lot to say apart from just recreating Shakespeare.
Okay.
This I think this one has a lot more of a soul to it, even if it's not aiming as high or, it doesn't. This is not a film with lofty ambitions, right?
Okay, but is the philosopher a synergistic outcome of the two of them?
I think so. I think it's Joel's auto aspirations and Ethan's just slightly more irreverent. And if I had to guess based on the two films they've made, right? Because
Yeah,
we don't
it's
know
too
really.
early to say, but yeah.
It's far too early, but I think it's some mix of the two. I think Joel aims high and then Ethan throws some grenades at at the idea, you know?
I definitely think so.
But I think the main issue, the most contentious element of this film isn't Ethan's style. It isn't the dialogue. It isn't the music. It is probably, if we're being honest, and this comes from a place of love, because I do think it is, fuck it, I do think it is her best performance to date. Margaret
Margaret Qualley.
Qualley's performance is probably the most divisive element of this film. Is that fair to say?
I don't think so. Why would that be divisive?
It's huge. It's like
I don't know what people are saying about this movie. All I know is that it has a 64 Rotten Tomato score and the audience score is something more like 40.
37. I'm never doing research for a podcast episode again.
This is my least researched one, I'll admit.
No, yes, it's been too much of a caricature. The accent is silly, the character is grating, all
The
those things go
accent
flying
is meant
around.
to be silly.
The accent, I think, is astounding. I love the accent. I could consume a whole series of her as that character.
It took me a minute, but I do think there's you it may because you go into it maybe expecting something more like a Coen Brothers movie, and then you have to readjust to realize this is just Ethan, and the purpose of this is to have fun.
Yeah, and I think key to that, and that ties into her character, is you definitely expect her to be the trope of that character type is that she's pretty emotionally unavailable
Yeah,
and stunted. She's incredibly emotionally in touch, as well as being this sort of um potty-mouthed, you know, nut job
sure.
essentially, who like runs into rooms and takes over, but she's also like, we need to help you find yourself on this road trip. I think that's such a, frankly, that's probably the Tricia Cooke of it all. I think that is the slightly less heteronormative version of this, you know.
Mm.
It is a messy, burning love story, but they're also like weirdly emotionally intelligent with each other, which I think is really funny.
So you think
I
that
think that's
the
what I think the lesbian element of it is the fact that even when they're basically Bonnie and Clyding, they're like
Yeah.
all about open communication. I think that's class. You know,
Okay.
I just I just think that's like such a funny conceit for that. Such a like, obviously the main way that their sexuality is portrayed is through a very sex positive and increasingly exponentially crass um
Yeah.
relationship. I think which is deliberately over the top. But I think it also comes through in their emotional conversational moments as well. That it's just there's like a weird healthiness to it.
So I think the whole crass side of it is intentionally leaning into stereotypes, which then is intentionally being subverted by the part that you're talking about,
Yeah, I
the
think so.
emotional intelligence part, right? That's the
I think
new
so.
thing that you haven't seen in this take on this kind of story before, or
Have
this
you ever
kind of
lived, yeah.
caricature.
Have you ever lived with lesbians?
Um, I don't know, not off the top of my head.
They are exhaustingly poetic. I don't want to generalize, but like
A massive generalization, but you don't want to
I'm
generalize.
you know what? I'm taking the swing 2 months in. They were like, "You are the love of my life." I'm like, calm down and get away from the fridge. Like, stop it. It's just too much, too quick. They crash hard. Not all of them, obviously, not all lesbians, but my experience has exclusively been they like they skip the first like 10 steps of a relationship.
Ah, okay. I honestly, I,
Comment
what,
on that, Sean.
I don't have a comment on that, James. I can't dispute your anecdotal experience.
Well, I'm speaking on behalf of all of them now.
Oh, you are? Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm speaking on behalf of the ones I lived with who know who they are, and shame on them, for being really annoying to live with when they were out of relationship.
Are you
Uh,
trying to make enemies of the show?
yeah. Um, enemies still count as listeners.
That's true. That's true. Hate a hate listen is still a listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
Um,
But you're a fan of Margaret Qualley's performance in this.
yeah, absolutely. It was great.
Are
What
you a
wasn't to like? What was the thing that people didn't like about this movie? It was
grating?
hardly just Margaret Qualley's
There are people
performance.
who hate this movie. I think it's just irritating,
Okay.
and I think I disagree with them.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a way to disagree with them that isn't okay, boomer, or something to that effect.
Sure.
Because I think it's
Is it
again,
okay? Can you say okay film, bro?
no,
Is it a film bro place of having just too rigid an expectation of a Coen Brothers movie?
no, I actually think it's obviously Ethan Coen and Tricia Cooke are not young people, but I actually think it
Yeah.
is almost a very contemporary reimagining of first Coen Brothers films, but also old Hollywood romance films for a very sex positive and postmodern modern audience.
Hmm.
Right? In that sense, that really oversells how artistic it is. It is just good. It is just nonsense
It's
fun.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
but do you know what I mean when I say that a little bit? I think there is a sophistication not in what it's trying to do, but in it being a modernization of tropes that maybe were held a little bit more sacred. Like the love story that's quite chaste under the Hays Code, for example, or the
Yeah.
third act of this is just non-stop sex, then a Coen Brothers scene, then back to the sex, and then Matt Damon. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
I think I think it's an update of old tropes, if anything.
But I think it benefits from being quite loose and not
Mm.
being overthought,
But if there's one thing this film isn't, it's overthought. I
right?
think
It
yeah, I think you're
massively
right.
benefits from that. I don't think it worries about it definitely doesn't worry about a plot that's cohesive. It's like they had just beats that they were like, I wanna end up, on this note emotionally. And
Mm.
then it's like, let's figure out how with all these moving parts it somehow ends up there. And
Well,
it's okay. Go
on the
ahead.
note of the ends of, what do you think of the last scene? Not the Matt Damon scene, that's farce, but the
Sure.
scene with Aunt Ellie, where they get into the car and they do the Billy Wilder for the Some Like It Hot frame with the guy in the middle of them on the side, and it's like that. Do you remember the final line of the film?
Yeah, I think something about marriage.
Yeah, so your one Marion is saying, just be cool. She's not going to be cool of this. She's very traditional. She's a Florida woman.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Margaret Qualley gets into the car, and it's framed like the boat at the end of Some Like It Hot, with them on the other
Okay.
side,
Yeah.
and the sort of the person who's oblivious in the middle. Margaret Qualley immediately just goes, "Yeah, yeah, we're thinking of going to Massachusetts. What's there? Women can get married there, out the gate." And
But it also ends
but
with
then
the
no, no, no,
person
no.
being cool.
But I said because women can get married there, and Daddy goes, "What, to each other?" And then there's a pause, and she hums, and it just goes, "Well, isn't that an innovation?" And that's the
Yeah.
last line of the movie. That to me is hysterical. Again, it's one last subversion where it becomes a happy ending, even if maybe that's not the natural progression.
Yeah, but it was also kind of expected.
It's sweet.
It's yeah, and it is a sweet movie. You could tell it wasn't going to end on something bigoted.
No, but yeah, but like how often do these kinds of films, LGBT films get cheesy endings? When are they not Brokeback Mountain or Carol? I quite like when I think that is something a statement in itself that it ends with, huh, well, that's an innovation. And then they drive off into the sunset with Aunt Ellie, the reformed Florida woman. That's class.
Well, this kind of goes back to what you were saying about that new movie with Paul Mescal in it.
Oh, the history of sound.
This is like exactly what your criticism about. This is basically incorporating all of your feedback about that, about just like we're in a different place with these movies now than we were 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, and I think things that would have seemed revolutionary 20 years ago nowadays can feel a
But
little bit
also, there
like
was
"Ugh, you're
so
stuck in a rut
few
there."
movies that told stories like this that people often, I think, felt that they had to take them quite seriously.
Yes.
In the mainstream, to
Yeah,
clarify, there
I
was
agree.
obviously a lot of art house movies and that were a lot more playful and less serious. But all the mainstream movies, it was you had to have some sort of key message and it had to be taken quite seriously.
I agree. They couldn't that they're it's the same, it's the same with all minorities who become normalized in the
Yeah,
culture, where originally any film about them has to be about them.
yeah,
You couldn't have a genre film about them. Do you know what I mean? And
sure,
gradually that fixes. Right now, you couldn't have a film, I don't think, or that you won't get films about trans people that aren't about them being trans.
sure.
Give it 20 years, and you'll have trans F1 movies, or 30 years, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like,
That's our timer, by the way. Just as you're
cool.
saying that. But yes, I
No
can't
worries.
wait for the trans Formula One movies.
Can I end on what I think is kind of why that ending not only works, but is probably comes from a place of more thought than maybe it lets on, which is something that Joachim Trier said recently, which I thought was really apt, which is that in this modern age of sort of hate and pessimism, Joachim Trier said, tenderness is the new punk. So actually showing open kindness and compassion is the new counterculture, which I thought at first schmaltzy, but it's a line that's really stuck with me. I think it's something that's very absent from the culture at the moment. Just kindness and compassion and empathy
I've
and
heard
positivity.
something similar about being seen to be trying quite hard on things, which was very unfashionable
Mm,
for the past 10 years, but now, like obviously in the noughties, it wasn't unfashionable. Everything was really heightened and deliberate, and people were, the effort was always seen.
yes.
And now there's maybe a bit of that creeping back in where it's cool to try again. That
Yeah,
seems a little bit
I think
related
so.
to this what you said.
I think so. I think things just go back and forth a bit, but I think there's no place for Mountain now, but there is probably more of a place for, you know, isn't that an innovation?
Okay, yeah. Hmm.
Fuck it, let's just subvert it. Let's force feed some happiness and some positive vibes every now and again.
Okay. Okay.
That's my feeling on why I thought that actually it's a dumb, funny joke, but it's also like, yeah, okay, I quite like that as an ending point for such an irreverently queer film as well.
You liked this movie, but
I did.
and how much did you like this movie? What
Um,
how did you rate it?
oh, I gave it. I think I gave it 3.5. I gave it 3.5 because I think it's as good as it's going to be, but while being a film of a very flimsy nature. And I think I've
Because you talk about this movie like it's a 4.5 star
yeah, but
movie
I
for
do that
you.
about all, first of all, I do that about all movies. Second of all, I think I've just tapped into things I like about it a lot on this
Mm.
podcast. I think it has.
Well, there's a need to do that because the general reception is quite poor.
I think so. I also
Yeah.
think it just has the issues aren't interesting to talk about. You know,
Hmm.
the issues are that there's not really a 3 act structure to it, and there's not really much of a score, and there's not really this. But
Which hardly counts
they're
as an
not.
issue. Yeah.
But they're not fun to talk. There are things that keep it from elevating to the next level, but they're not fun to talk about. I think the mess is what's interesting about it. So talk about the mess. You know.
Sure,
How about
sure.
you? Where do you stand
I
on
think
this?
I'd rate it more like a 4. I was surprised by how much I liked it, but maybe it's because I was primed to not enjoy it.
Yeah,
Um, and also I think I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to even by the trailer of it.
that's fair.
I mean, I'm very excited to hear that there's going to be three of these.
Honey Don't is different. Honey Don't is really enjoyable as
No,
well.
different, of course, but a trilogy.
Yes. And the exciting thing is to give you a tease, in Honey Don't, Margaret Qualley is doing a different Southern accent, which implies to me in the third one, we're going to get a third Southern accent. So very excited to see how that all develops. Um, I thought we could end with a little game.
Okay.
I'm going to read you some Coen Brothers films, and you're
Yeah.
going to say which of the two was the leading voice on it, just as a
Oh, that's a good
total.
idea.
Okay?
Okay.
So
Let's speed run it, but yeah.
yeah, I'll give you a few. Okay, Inside Llewyn Davis.
Joel,
Okay, and then to balance out, Raising Arizona.
Ethan,
Yeah, Fargo.
more even.
I'm gonna
Uh,
push you for 51%,
oh fuck.
49%.
Fargo, I'm gonna go 51, Joel.
Okay. Big Lebowski.
51, Ethan.
Okay, True Grit. I think
True
this is a
Grit.
hard one
What's the
because
line from that? I hear you're a man of true. I don't remember.
True Grit.
That is the line. Sorry.
It's a very, it's
I
a very
didn't remember if
sentimental
I
film.
got the I think I hear you're a man of True Grit part. I was unsure about that I hear you're a man section, not the True Grit part. I remembered the next part was True Grit.
I think you're a man of Fargo.
True Grit, I'm gonna say definitely Joel.
Okay, that's the one I disagree on. I think that's more Ethan. I think it's very sentimental.
Hmm,
I don't know.
but it's not very funny.
It's quite funny.
It's not a comedy. No, it's not.
No, but it's still funny.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'm gonna ask you this one. No
Okay,
Country
go.
for Old Men.
Oh, that's Joel.
You think?
Yeah.
See, I
If
don't,
again, only based on the characterizations then that we've created here today.
but
We
I
have
think
no
No
idea what
Country
they're
for
like.
Old Men is too hard to pin down to one of them. Strangely, I think it could just be Ethan's outlier.
Okay, but that's clearly overcomplicated the game.
Yeah.
You can't just like that. This one's probably Joel, but Ethan might just have been having an off day. Like, no, that's
That movie is too, everything comes together too well in that movie. That movie's too cohesive to say like one was leading. Because I
do
don't
you want?
think Joel could have made that movie alone.
This is weird because we don't know these people at all.
We know them through their art.
You just said with like quite a bit of conviction, Joel couldn't make this movie alone. You don't know Joel. You know nothing
But
about him.
I haven't even seen the movie he did make alone.
No, at least I've seen that. And I can say, I've seen that. I can say, you know what? He probably could.
What's a podcast for if not to make completely unfounded statements?
Sean,
Yes.
buddy,
Yeah.
pal,
Yeah.
what are we talking about next week?
Um, I think maybe the studio.
You sound really up for it.
I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced it's going to be a strong episode. It might be the best episode yet.
Well, this wasn't a very strong episode.
Really?
What?
You didn't like this episode?
I think sometimes when I like the movie too much, I hate myself for talking about it.
I
I
thought
think
I thought you
I
talked very
think
well today.
I'm not self-deprecating. I mean, I think yeah, no, this was fun.
Next week we're going to
But let
talk.
the uh, I was gonna
Uh,
say
Go
we
ahead.
can let the listeners decide if this episode was good or not
Absolutely.
by
Next week.
messaging in.
Oh no. Sorry, I thought you said we can let the listeners decide what we talk about next week.
No, they can decide if this episode was any good by messaging in at.
At our website, which is in the show notes, and at the bottom of which site you can find a contact form.
We've gotten so good at this part.
Yeah, we're fantastically consistent with the plug for our website.
I had to really work to get that in there, man. You were plowing on to end the show.
So next week we're going to talk about a movie, possibly a TV show. Um, and here's the suspense of it all. You're going to have to tune in next week to figure out what movie or TV show that is because
Or
we're not fully sure ourselves.
could do The Last of Us. Have you
Nah,
seen it yet?
I've seen the first season and I really don't feel like watching the second season.
It's not very.
I'm not going to watch fucking 16 hours of a series that's not
What do
very
you mean
good.
16 hours?
Is it
How
not
long
like
do you think it is?
1.5 hour for whatever 16 divided by 1.5 is episodes?
Okay, well, there isn't any episode longer than an hour.
Yeah, I know, but it's at least 10 hours.
There's 7 episodes. None of them are longer than an hour.
It's at least 7 hours. It's
There's
at most 7 hours.
two of the episodes are 45 minutes long. So it's
That's,
like
look,
it's barely over six
the
hours.
beautiful thing about this movie, it was 80 minutes.
Okay.
Let's pick another 80-minute movie.
You said that with a quite like you said that with the same glee as when you said Kathy Bates was your favorite lesbian, where it's a little bit like just disarming.
Yeah. Well, we'll pick a nice short one so then it's easy for the viewers to watch as well. Or the
Yeah.
listeners to watch as well.
Do you reckon they're bored listening to us by now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
Okay.
trim this section down. Or
Bye.
I'll forget to trim it down as
I
usual.
said bye.
Bye.